Welcome back to Turn Back the Flock. This week, we have the Michigan game coming up, and we decided to get a special guest and former Oregon running back, Jonathan Stewart. Man, welcome to the show.
Oh man, appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for having me on. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Honestly, this is another big week in Oregon football, and with another, former Big Ten opponent you played, and now, we're in the Big Ten. We always want to highlight some of those big wins we had in the past, and you yourself were a part of a big win against Michigan, actually. So, of course, the game happened September 8th, 2007. But let's go to kind of the week leading up. Y'all just beat Houston, actually. Just tell me a little bit. Coming into the year, you're unranked. How do y'all feel about that as a team?
You know how rankings go. Rankings are for fans. It's a way for them to go throughout their week, go into their busy work schedules, and you know talk crap to their employees and the classmates and family. So the rankings, all that is just chatter right now. Especially for Oregon being ranked number one, is just chatter. And if you're a player, you can't be involved with that chatter. You just got to take, each game by, what it is, one at a time. And so for us back then, 2007, um, we had just came off of, the Vegas Bowl. So, we and going to the Vegas Bowl and losing to BYU was nothing, but embarrassing, and knowing that we felt that we were more talented and all the things. I think going off into that off season, I just remember Dennis going to go, play baseball, got drafted, um, and Chip going out of his way to, make a case for Dennis and basically saying, "Hey, look, if you come back, I promise you this will be the best year of your life." And sure enough, having Chip Kelly step in as offensive coordinator changed our trajectory and really changes, what Oregon is. Oregon wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Chip Kelly, if it wasn't for guys like Dennis Dixon. Spread offense was something special that really got ignited, I think through Dennis Dixon's play. You have a guy like him that isn't a Vince Young. He's a guy that's, straight speed, straight. Um, when I think about Dennis Dixon, I think about poetry. Everything he did was smooth. You know what I'm saying? Everything he like how he walked, how he talked, how he prepped, how he talked in the huddle. His presence was so confident and so different and so like peaceful. Like everything was just never rattled. If we was losing, it was just like, hey, boom, whoop de whoop, boom, boom, about to run the play. Let's go. Set, break. And like that energy and that confidence was something different, especially because he came back from being a drafted baseball player, and here we are, college students. Like, man, he got the bag now. He got some type of bag. So he feeling some type of way. We need to follow that guy. He going places. But leading up to, Michigan, that was the biggest game of a lot of our lives. The national stage, Big Ten presence, um, and it's Michigan. It's the big house. So our preparation was, the Casanova Center. We, you know, the noise preparation was the biggest thing, right? How do we get, our calls in? Yeah, we play in Eugene, Oregon, but for an offense, we have very smart fans that are quiet when we're on the field at work. So going into an environment that's going to be challenging in that aspect, we had to practice for noise. So we had the speakers blasting in the indoor, and all that. And once we got, on that plane, it was a long flight, longer than usual, something that I think some guys weren't necessarily used to. There was some turbulence on the plane. I remember I remember being in the seat, bro, and I had a spoon that I was eating with. And sometimes when you're eating and you talking to people, you just kind of have the spoon just hanging in your mouth. Like, yeah, blah, 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 yeah, like that, right? And it started turbulent and bouncing in the plane. Boy, that spoon, if I had it kind of stuck to the top of my mouth, that would have jammed through my mouth, bro. That's how bad that turbulence was.
Oh, wow.
Um, it was bad. It was scary, but I remember the plane ride, and then getting there. My pops, my parents split when I was younger, and he lives in Georgia. That was the first in-person game that my dad ever watched me play since youth football. And so that was a special moment, just having him there and him being able to see me in person. So he flew to Michigan from Georgia, and so there's a lot of things that people don't necessarily talk about, like as far as parents being able to go and travel to watch their kids play and then get back home for work on time, right? Not having to, go all the way sometimes to the West Coast. Back in the day, they didn't have that many flights, in and out of Eugene. And so
Oh, I
that
know.
was that was a huge, blessing. But we came in there and we saw a wounded animal, bro.
I mean, like, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before
Yeah.
we started. They just lost to Appalachian State, which is still arguably one of the bigger upsets in college
Hmm.
football history. Y'all, like you said, a wounded animal, basically. Did y'all know, as well as the preparation and the noise, did y'all kind of have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, just knowing like they already kind of down? Let's kick the dog while he's down, almost type of energy.
Oh, absolutely. When you see a dog that's down, when you see an animal that's hurting, you go over there and you put that animal out of his misery, right? Because that's the right thing to do. You don't want that dog or that animal, that deer suffering. You know what I'm saying? Like a deer gets hit by a car and they're on the side of on the sidewalk. The right thing to do is not just let that deer suffer. Now, obviously, we didn't do this because we were trying to do the right thing by them. We were doing it because we were just being some dogs. Have that X factor, have that edge about yourself, saying we're going into your house with a sledgehammer. Literally, Jeremiah Johnson had a sledgehammer every single game that year. And out of the tunnel, it was like a statement basically saying, we either protecting our house or we coming in messing up your house. And so that being the big house, we went in there and we messed up that whole entire house. It was a big house too. It was loud. People were going crazy. The fans were like, go Big Blue and all that stuff. Ducks suck and all that crap. Da, 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 da. Man, we had them fans in there going silent, like a library, like a funeral, like something like church. Your mama in church, she pop you when the preacher talking. If you making too much noise, it was one of them. And so I'm telling you, it went just dead silent. And I mean, it was like fourth quarter, third quarter. Fans were in there crying, bro. So that's what the energy needs to be like going into this game. You need to go in there. They are 5-3. Okay. They a little bit wounded. You need to go in there and make sure that they stay wounded, right? And make them little kids, make them fans, them college students, make them cry. Make them relive these moments, dog. Bring the pain, boy.
Oh man. I honestly see this is great. I didn't expect you to take it's always great when you have just you can tell you're a football guy, of course. I know you played, whatever, but it's just you get into that
Yeah,
mode.
that mindset.
That mode.
Yeah,
It's like it's your alma mater or
yeah,
back to Michigan. It's just like we want them to go in. So I get it. But
yeah,
you get into the game a little bit. Before though, the new uniform. So you saw they're kind of paying homage to y'all's big
yeah.
win. Did you have anything specific you wore, any type of drip, as they call it nowadays? Any superstitions, anything like you just had to wear every game, anything like that?
So I had this shirt that I wore since high school. It was like the cut off. I like cut a shirt off to where your abs showing back in the day. I don't know if y'all still do that, but I had a shirt that I wore all throughout high school, and it was like this football shirt. It was like a generic Walmart shirt that I had, and I just always wore it. And I washed it, and every time I washed it,
Thank
you
you.
know,
washing it because I had somebody on here that didn't wash.
Oh yeah, they tripping.
Appreciate that.
But I legit had this shirt, bro, and I would like and I would write Philippians 4:13 on there every game. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And just a, reminder of who I'm playing for and whose strength I'm playing with and what it's gonna take. You know, when you ask God to give you strength, that means that you are about to endure something, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you more so need to have the ability to be okay with whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? And not really go so far outside of yourself to make something happen. You play from within, you know? Um, but anyway, so that was basically my only superstition. I really enjoyed the Michael Vick cleats. Um, when things kept my feet comfortable. I'm a guy that's all about comfort. I was never necessarily a guy that was, about the flash or any of those things. It just so happened I was able to go to you know, a college that provided that for me with Nike. But my junior year, my last year, I did recall, um, guys like AJ Tuateli, Jeremiah Johnson, Dennis Dixon, um, shoot, Brady Leaf, like just a lot of guys that went down in injury. And I used to write their numbers on my arms. And at some point, at one point, I started losing space on my arms to represent the guys that we lost in battle. And so, other than that, I didn't really have too much. But them duck uniforms, special. And they're special because exactly what you said, them paying homage to not just the current, flow of where Oregon is now, but bringing in and welcoming, um, you know, the past, of what got Oregon to where it is now. And it's so important because it's an opportunity to educate new fans, to educate the Big Ten and those that don't really know anything about Oregon. So it's like a reintroduction to guys like myself, Dennis Dixon, Derek Jones, Jeremiah Johnson, um, everybody knows like the LaMichael James, Kenyon Barner, Royce Freeman, Marcus Mariota, Justin Herbert. A lot of guys know those guys because of the freshness of, where social media started going and all of that. But it's really cool to pay homage to who I think is, Dennis Dixon, one of the most influential football players in college football.
100%. Man, that's you making me get out of character today because this is
Yeah, be out of character, boy. Let's get it.
the type of this is I like when guys get in that mode. Like
Yeah.
it makes me excited, man. It's
Yeah. Because
um
that's what it's all about, man. Like, people don't want to hear nothing about X's and O's and ABCs. They want to hear what it's like. You know what I'm saying?
real
And when they look, when them boys get off that plane, they better be ready to fight. You feel me?
man. I'm who you telling? I already know. Like, see, and just the way you can recall everything. Like, for instance, I was fortunate enough for my parents to come to pretty much most games. My dad came to almost every game. And I was from Texas. Like, I'm from Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many direct flights in Eugene, but Pops was always going to be there. Like most of
Yeah.
the time, Pops was going to be there. We played Ohio State. We had to go play Syracuse. Whoever we had to play, he was going to find a way to get there. So
Yeah.
you can understand the plane ride. Like our plane ride against Ohio State, we were doing push up. We were doing like a warm up on the plane because it was such a long flight. They had us warming up. Like so, understanding those details and just like you said, the what goes into the process before we actually step foot on the field. So I
Yeah.
get it. They probably gonna cut some of this out, but it's okay because we're just
No,
talking.
that's dope, bro. Like they had y'all on the plane.
We did
Um,
dynamic warm up
yeah,
in
that's what's up.
2.5 hours because it's like a
And
4 hour.
so it's the little things like that. It's the details that people don't really take into consideration when it comes to preparation. Like, we thinking about everything. What's the edge? What edge can I get here when I go play Michigan in the big house?
We leave the
I'm
day we
pretty,
leave the day before we left Thursday. Well, yeah, we left Thursday after
Hmm.
practice. You know, let me leave on Friday. We left Thursday after practice. We walked the stadium on Thursday. We did the dynamic warm up on the plane. Like, there's so much that goes into like an away game that's further away like this. And it's like you said,
Yeah.
process. It's the edge. It's just that one little edge that may now, granted, y'all blow them out basically, but we may end up in a tie ball game just because maybe we did an extra walkthrough at the hotel,
Yeah.
walked over this bunch formation one more time, just one
Yep.
more time, just to make sure we're down on it. They finally ran this play. They only ran it once.
Right.
In the Super Bowls, Belichick and them, they ran the play one time during the year. They may come to it, they may not, but we're gonna be prepared.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
let's get into the game a little bit. Some big plays. Literally the first drive, Matthew Harper has an interception. Like they try to run like a one man route. He's in the middle of the field, picks it off. As an offense, you see your defense go get a turnover off the rip. Are y'all just ignited? Do y'all think I'm not gonna say y'all think it's a cakewalk, but it's like, do you already have that chip where it's like they can't hang with us? Did you have a feeling towards that early?
You always have that feeling. When you step on the field, your feeling is, oh, I'm about to eat these boys for lunch. Like this ain't they can't hold me. You know, my mentality playing ball, bro. When I was in high school, my thought process was I have to make these kids look like kids. I have to make these kids look like middle schoolers, basically. And when I got to high school, when I got to college, it was I got to make these kids, these college kids, look like high schoolers. If I want to make it to the league, that's what it has to look like. So when Matt Harper got that interception, bro, it was time to go to work. That was all.
And
It was time to go to work.
it's so funny you talk about your kind of your because I was going to ask you anyways your mentality when you run because like even when I watch through the course of the game, you're hurdling guys. I mean, two, three people hit you, the balance, and like even in the that very next drive after the interception, y'all go down and you almost score one time. I think
Yeah,
you got they say you were down at the one. I think it.
yeah. I think I was into. They ain't had the video as clear as they do these days, so we had to let that slide.
I think you were in, but even after that, you score again, but it's called back because of a holding. And
Hmm.
I guess, how did y'all deal with that verse? Because you get down there. I mean, y'all got down there quick and y'all had to settle for a field goal. But what is your mentality to that type of adversity that even though we didn't score right here, we just marched right down the field and pretty much got everything we wanted early in the
Yeah, I mean, we did what we wanted to do. I mean, it's field position, right? Like as a player, the game is won with field position. If you win the field position battle, you'll win a game. So on that drive, we may not have came away with a touchdown, but that field position with the interception, right now we're winning. And so obviously the end goal is always to score a touchdown on offense, right? Disappointed. But you know what that does do when you're able to drive down there with that fashion is basically say, hey, Michigan defense, we let y'all off the hook. We'll be back.
They go down and score again. They go down and score this next drive. Cool. Y'all come right back pretty much off the rip. 5 minutes left in the first. Brian Paysinger, Dennis, I think they ran like switch verts.
Hmm.
You like you said, y'all knew. Y'all
Yeah.
knew right then and there. Like
Toast.
the dog is limping. The
So
dog
they
and
ain't have guys like you on the other side of the ball. You know what I'm
the
saying?
dog is
So
limping.
yeah, they was hurt already. So they was just basically coming out. Everybody has, their script, right? You have a defensive script, you have an offensive script. The problem with that is it usually if you just have one script and it pans out the way it's supposed to pan out, but you don't have nothing else, it,
Counters.
you're gonna lose a game.
Gotta
And
have
so they had a first drive script, and after that, you either got it or you don't. And Michigan did not have it, and you can see it plain as day as you watch the game, right? They didn't know how to prepare for our defense, the D boys. You know what I'm saying? Like D boys was in the making right there in that season. They
Real
was in
talk
the
though,
make.
because
They was they was in the making, boy. I mean, I remember, we'd be eating at training table after practice, or even on away games, bro. I remember Kwame Adjaman. He was like, "Hey, bro, you can't sit
yeah,
here. You can't sit here. DP gonna come over here and make sure that you can't sit here, bro. You gotta move. Coach DP, he ain't gonna like that. We sitting with the offensive guys. Like it was a tight knit group over there. That defense, like they was not playing. It was like, nah, we family. We are all family, but we are like in the same house over here. So don't be stepping on our lawn. Don't be coming knocking on our door when it's after, when it's after hours type of thing. But like it was very special group, man. And you right, dog. Like once they scored, it was just all right, cool. Offense, y'all ready? Chip Kelly, you up there ready? All right, let's do it. Whatever we did from that point on, it worked and it worked to our favor.
I mean, literally, you score, you come back. Casey Matthews strips Mike Hart. Jerry's Bird recovers the fumble. I mean, it's two turnovers pretty much in the first what three drives. It's like this is
Yeah.
we're here, but I kind of want to talk, and you talked about it a little bit, the spread element because they actually complained during the broadcast about tackling and having to kind of deal with y'all being a little more spread out because it's the Big Ten, especially the old school Big Ten where it's power I and things like that. Versus a team like that, what do you think was so effective in this game and even just throughout the season with this spread offense?
We were just fast. We played fast, tempo, everything about it. I mean, from me, I was 230 some pounds and running 4.4 speed. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, that wasn't normal. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You had guys like Jeremiah Johnson, who was like just so witty with how he was able to like position himself against a defender to where they couldn't touch him. So our run game with plus Dennis, um, like it was you couldn't necessarily defend us because if you went all in on one angle, you basically exploiting the other, and vice versa. Um, And that year, the spread offense, it wasn't the first time that it ever existed. It was just the first time that it was executed the way it was with Chip Kelly. We played fast. We practiced fast. I mean, and they got faster after I graduated. And I didn't even think that was possible as far as how fast they got to the line of scrimmage, how fast they're getting plays off. Um, you know, Chip Kelly's, confidence in what he was drawing up as far as plays and running those plays. The Statue of Liberty. I mean,
Yep.
we practiced that play that week probably at least 4 times. And I'm thinking to myself, dang, we really gonna run this? There was no question. I've been on teams where we run these trick plays and we never run it. We never. But we was gonna run that play. I knew it. And the first time we ran it, it was a fake, or it was a give
Y'all
to
ran it
me.
this one. Yeah, y'all ran it the
Yeah,
first time with like 12 minutes in the second.
yep,
Follows up with your touchdown,
yep,
actually. And then go ahead. The fake, what if you can't take me into the one y'all run a little bit later, y'all run the fake Statue of Liberty.
yeah, yeah.
That
So so we ran the first one, got around the edge, the left side edge, and
Hercules.
was able to cut up. Um, I was manhandling some of those guys, though. I remember I grabbed like a defensive lineman by his jersey and just swung him to the ground and like basically just like trying to claw my way to the end zone. But what happened was I was like not using I was clawing with me, like my hands, my feet weren't coming with me. I tripped up and I was pissed off about that. But we came back later with the fake Statue of Liberty, and Dennis, to my knowledge, as what I remember, Dennis was not supposed to tell us if he was going to keep it or give it. And so my whole thought process was, I'm getting the ball unless he takes it. And so when you as a running back have that mentality that I'm getting the ball, the fake was amazing. I had a really good fake because I thought I was getting the ball. JJ went down there and he cut a guy, um, and like knocked him off his feet. I went around the edge like I had the ball. I didn't have the ball, and I just kept running, and all I hear, the fans like, it was just silent. Didn't score a touchdown, bro. It was so poetic, dog. Like it was like, and I looked at the screen, and I'm like, dang, it really worked. And so, man, those times you'll always remember for the rest of your life, and it's not necessarily just the game that you remember; it's the plane ride back. It's the moment on the sideline. That moment where you're in third quarter, fourth quarter, and you winning the game. Like you don't even play a full game because you're winning. Like it was one of those. And the plane ride back. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing that you did your job and you're around a lot of special guys and guys like Brian Pasinger, Derek Jones, Jason Williams.
Both of them.
Those guys came out and had a coming out party, bro. Like it was amazing. Um, and just our offensive line that year too. Jeff Schwartz, he got drafted the same year that I was drafted to the Carolina Panthers, and just seeing guys that have developed and really come into their own, including guys like myself, finally having a year where I was healthy going into a season. I ended up messing up my toe towards the end of the year. Um, but it was just a really cool time. And I think every time I talk to somebody about Oregon and me playing in Oregon, it's always like this reminder of, you know, basically being a part of a trailblazing movement. And it's all because of guys like Phil Knight and everything that he does and pours into the University of Oregon to be the best of the best. And I feel like this year, these boys really have a chance to be the best. They finally got those trenches. Those trenches right now, they big, they strong, they able to compete. I mean, watching the Purdue game, Illinois game, Ohio State game, Michigan State, Big Ten, what? Big Ten who? Like, ain't nothing big about y'all right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we basically coming in here and recreating, the wheel. Um, and right now it's going in our favor. So
Oh, that's good stuff. I mean, we went off script, but that's what it's about. I mean, big time win on the road that y'all had in 2007, and it set y'all up even for the rest of the year. Y'all had some ups and downs, but I mean, to finish pretty much ranked and go to a bowl game. I mean, y'all
yeah.
did it right, and so
Yeah,
um,
what was it like for you? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all, you were part of some really special teams.
man, I see. I'm about to come on your podcast. See, that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to switch. We're gonna have to switch because I'm gonna be here all day. If you
Yeah,
ask me, in a nutshell, I mean, we want to be the best. No matter what
yeah,
they say, we want to be the best. And the reason I went
yeah,
to Oregon was to do my thing and be the best. Like
yeah.
it's not for everybody. It's different. Eugene is different.
Hmm.
Like when you walk into the cash, you walk into the HDC, you walk into the end, like you're walking in to put in work. We're here to get better today. We're here to be the best because we have it. And even like I kind of told the guys, I was up there this past summer and they were working out, and Coach Lane let me talk to him. And I just said, there's a lot of guys that have come before me, y'all, that have been close and never got to do it, but have had the teams, the talent, so many different things, and adversity hits. And I was like, y'all have the team to do it, and y'all have the
Hmm.
coaches, the resources, and that's why I think Oregon is so amazing. Like you have all the resources. I guess I always find it hard for guys to it's hard to not excel at Oregon if you just don't care or if you just don't take advantage of the opportunity. And that was the biggest thing of my parents, like take advantage of everything. That's why I still go.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so much you can still go back there and you're gonna be you love it. It's like nobody will ever say like, the league is cool, like everybody loves the NFL, but the times of playing in Autzen Stadium are
Yeah.
one of one. And for me and like when we played, it was always about kind of paying homage to the guys that came before us because we know we wouldn't be here to this point as big of a school as we are and known and that means something. We're a national brand because of guys like yourself and Dennis and Mariota, like Joey Harrington. Like
Hmm.
it goes all the way back to when it started really like in, Ahmad Rashad days and it's just worked its way up. And now we're at this point to where we're steamrolling people. And it's like to watch guys dominate week after week and play these big games and in the Big Ten where people thought it's gonna be too physical and all of that. Like you've beat Big Ten teams. We've beat Big Ten teams. We like this isn't anything necessarily new.
New. Yeah, it's not
Not
new.
new. If you go look at the history of it, when we've played Wisconsin, we've played Purdue, we've played Ohio State, we've played Michigan, we've played Michigan State. We've played I've been doing these interviews for a couple of times now. The only team I think that we have never played in the history of football is Maryland.
Maryland. Yeah.
They've never played Maryland. But other than that, they've played everybody pretty
Don't
much.
need to play Maryland. I don't really want to play Maryland. Who cares about Maryland?
So this was great. I mean, turn back the flock. We did a little more than just turn back the flock, but man, I really appreciate it. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk more after this. And yeah, man, I have to come on your show.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me on.